How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have the very first war of Season 27. But first of all, can we just acknowledge how good Warlock looks now that he's duped? He's got dim platinum stars and is above 15 KPI, stepping up in this world. Maybe I'll give him some stones if I don't get Guardian anytime soon. But I digress. So today we're going with my classic or most popular team of Nick Fury, Quake and Doom, starting on part 6, and then we're gonna switch over to part 4 in section 2. So first up we have Mysterio with Strike Back and Aggression Fury. Now if you've watched me fight Mysterio in previous war videos, then you'll know that I'm just not a fan of this champ on defense, to say the least. Whenever he throws a special attack, something bad happens, either the miss with the power drain or the reflection gas, which makes you play a bit passively until it expires. And there is strike counter Fury in this fight, so you don't want to be passive for too long. But the most annoying thing about Mysterio, for me at least, has to be the heavy attack bias. Just the way he likes to throw it so frequently, even though he has no reason to. Like, I'll be halfway across the screen and he'll just throw a random heavy attack. But you gotta be careful because it does have some deceptive range to it. Like, it can hit you when you don't expect it. But I'm using Doom, so usually I just hold block, let him come at me and then try to re-parry. But usually what will happen is he'll throw a heavy attack. So it's kind of like I'm baiting the heavy attack this time. And this is all just to prevent him from throwing special attacks while I build the special 3. And for a standard war fight like this, with Doom, once you get to a special 3, the fight is pretty much over. So just do the usual Doom rotation, throw the special 1, but before I throw the special 2 I drop a few hits, just to make sure that special 2 takes him out, even without critting. Probably didn't need to, even with strike back, but just playing it safe. So fishbowl on an ice cream cone goes down, and now we have a Yellowjacket, the first high ground fight, with power focus 1 and power alternator. So this is gonna be a pretty quick and easy fight with Nick Fury. There's nothing to worry about here, just don't get hit. If you somehow fail to do that, then just try not to die. And you know what's funny about Yellowjacket for me is he got buffed a few months ago, but to this day I still don't know the exact details of the buff. I know he's got a slow debuff and petrify I think it is. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know exactly how he works, how to play him. I don't even know what that little black icon is or what it does. And it's so easy for me to learn about him. I can just pull up his description and read it, or, you know, go on Aunt May, or just watch a video. But no, I don't think I will, because I just don't feel like it, and I don't need to, quite frankly. That's how little I care about Yellowjacket. And he could be this great champ, although I doubt it since he doesn't get used by a whole lot of people. But I'm sure he's decent. I mean, any champ with slow and decent petrify should be pretty useful. He just doesn't have much to offer me that I can't get from other champs like She-Hulk. So I kind of just brushed over the Yellowjacket buff. But now moving on, we have Sorcerer with Power Snack and Backup Recovery. And this might be the most interesting fight of this war because this was the one fight that did not go according to plan. Oh boy, like it actually went wrong pretty quickly. So I'm using Doom for this fight because he has pretty epic power control. However, Sorcerer does have easy access to slow. So you need to be careful when you're allowed to throw a special attack because if she has Econ's Blessing, then she'll apply a slow debuff on you. And without slow, there's no aura. And without aura, there's no power control. So this is where the fight starts getting out of control. Like, here's my first error. I overestimated how much power I would steal with the light attack, which resulted in me throwing a special 2 instead of power stealing with the special 1. And then she decides to throw a special 2 during the frame when I wasn't blocking. I dropped my block for a fraction of a second, and that's when she throws a special 2. That tiny window, which also happens to be a fraction of a second before Econ's Blessing had expired. Just the timing of everything was so peculiar. So now I have slows for days. My Doom is basically a potato at this stage, he can't really do much. And this is where I make my next big mistake. I completely forget about Power Snack, so I dex and that pushes her to 3 bars of power. So now I'm gonna take a fat special 3 because she has 3 runes with the Fury passive. So that does an annoying amount of damage, but fortunately it does not kill me. I'm still in the fight, but I need to wait for all these slow debuffs to expire before I can regain control of the fight. So just need to keep baiting special attacks since I can't power control, and just make sure she doesn't throw a special attack with Econ's Blessing, otherwise I'll be slowed again. And now you can see the menacing tactic that is high ground coming into play. I mean, just look at all that block damage, 750 per block, I'm losing 2% health, and it is terrible. How am I going to survive all this block damage? My health is just draining way too quickly, I have no chance of finishing this fight now. Yeah, no, it is special 3 time. I have no more slow debuffs on me, so the fight is basically over at this stage.
I do as I choose, and I answer to no one. To face doom is to face one's end.
Do the standard Doom cycle, but because Sorcerer has that passive power gain instead of the usual combat power rate like most champs, I'm not gonna get the perfect power steal, so I'm gonna throw another special 1 before I end her with a special 2. So finally she goes down, far from my cleanest Sorcerer fight, but at least I didn't die. I'm just gonna have to heal up Doom for the last fight. Well, actually I didn't have to, because that last fight was kind of a joke. So now I'm gonna move up to section 2 and switch to part 4 where we have 2 Quake fights to deal with. But don't worry, Quake haters, do not fear. These are gonna be very quick fights because I'm gonna be running suicides for them, which is something I don't think I've ever done during a war season. But I didn't do it for war. The reason I switched masteries was because this is when I started doing the Inhuman Stamina Karina challenge. So I figured I might as well take advantage of the mastery change in Alliance War since I'm using Quake. So now we have a Spider Ham with Steady Buildup, Unblockable, and Spry, 2 nodes that Quake can just completely ignore because she will only have up to 2 debuffs from the Suicide Masteries. And of course, he can't evade if you never try to hit him. So it's a very simple fight with Quake, just gonna do the usual heavy decks. And Spider Ham is a champ that I haven't really quaked much, but he has some fairly easy animations to Quake, so not much to worry about here. It's a very standard Quake fight, so let's just move on to a fight which was not very standard. So now we're gonna Quake a Havok with Steady Buildup, Unblockable, and Crumbling armor. I decided to heal up Quake and boost a bit more, and then after this fight I started my Labyrinth run. So this fight is interesting because he can actually go Unblockable very early in this fight. Cause I'll have a bleed, a poison, and I could have an armor break. But Quake did bypass Crumbling armor, so I didn't have to worry about that. And even if she didn't, if I didn't line up the concussion with the Crumbling armor node, I could still do this fight perfectly fine with him being unblockable for the entire time, cause I don't actually need to block. So Havok is a champ that I find more fun to Quake than most champs because you're not just quaking the entire time. Because of his slow passive power gain, you actually do need to drop basic combos and then bait a special too. This will usually happen after the 3rd aftershock, but you should just use your discretion, and I generally start dropping combos when I see he's above 2/3 of a bar of power. And you'll often need to do shortened combos or stagger your combos just to make sure that you can do as many hits before the stun expires, or before he recovers from that last combo, or just hold block like what I did here because I didn't get him to 2 bars of power, so I just bait a heavy and then I can push him to 2 bars. Pew! Boop, pew! Yeah, I can't do the high-pitched voice today, it's just not working for me. I could just rip the audio from an older video and edit this out, but I don't know, I think it's fine. But anyway, Havok is about to go down. This should be the last aftershock cycle, and yeah, not too bad overall. So that's section 2, and now we have one more fight, which is going to be the most boring fight of this war, because this fight's going to be more boring than the Quake fight, the first Quake fight, believe it or not, because now we have a high ground Wasp with Rage and Return Policy, and I'm going to use Doom for this fight because he is pretty much the safest option for it. He is shock immune, so Wasp evading essentially has no consequence. I'll just start losing my combo after I run out of those Nick Fury evade charges. So Doom is far from the quickest counter for this fight, and I made it even slower by playing extra safe. I did not use any special attacks or the heavy attack. I was just dropping the most basic combos. I could have used the special 2 or the heavy attack for more damage, but those do have a chance to trigger Rage. Then I might have to use a special 1 to nullify, which can trigger Return Policy, which means more power management, so yeah, I just kept it very simple. Also, I was trying to complete this fight without taking any damage from high ground, just for the sake of it, because I can do this fight perfectly fine without even knowing that high ground exists, because it's just so insignificant. So yeah, a pretty simple fight with Doom and a very comfortable war overall. We did end up winning this one. Shout out to Way Too Easy in the opposing alliance who already made his war video with commentary. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this war. Not the most interesting one, but I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty interesting season. With these weak tactics, we're going to have a lot more opportunity to bring a wider variety of champs. Like during the off season, I was using Professor X quite a lot. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.